What's up, guys? It's Joe D, and I am very excited because, as many of you know, Smitty and I released our new strength system this week, a 3 DVD set and a manual. The feedback is starting to come in. It has been incredibly positive thus far. This thing has been a labor of love, man. We worked on it for a year straight. We filmed the DVDs last June, and this is something that our initial goal was to get it out in time for the holidays. We were looking at November or December, and here we are a year later, and it wasn't from a lack of effort. It was, we just kept building and adding more stuff and changing some things and tweaking things, experimenting, adding more, and literally a labor of love for a year straight. We worked on this project every week for an entire year. Man, I think I almost got divorced a couple times because of the time and effort and sleepless nights that was put into this thing. So I am super excited about it. But I got a Facebook message today that annoyed me a little bit, but when I kind of took a step back, it is a legitimate question, and that's what has brought upon this video right now. So basically, I'll paraphrase, but somebody wrote me a message. He said he's a big fan, loves all of our stuff, but there's a ton of products out there and a ton of information already out there on strength, specifically the bench, squat, and deadlift. How much more is there really to know? How can your product be any different? So basically, you get the gist of that. And you know what? It is, like I said in the beginning, I was kind of a little offended, but that's a legit question. Ton of information out there on just strength, because in my opinion, strength builds the foundation for everything. So it is important. So when you have an important topic, there's a lot of information out there, some good, some bad. Now, you also might say, all right, the bench, the squat, and the deadlift, foundational barbell training essentials, the big three. How much more is there to know? I've read stuff, I've gone to seminars. Really, how much more is there? And the fact of the matter is, there is a lot more. Now, a lot of the stuff in this product might be a refresher course for you, and that's great. But I think as a whole, the amount of information in here is just, it can't be compared to anything else out there, because I truly don't believe there is anything else out there, because this goes way beyond the bench, squat, and deadlift. And I want to show you how it's different. We kind of take it for granted. We know the time and effort we spent putting into this, but I'm glad I got this message, because there are people that might think, just another powerlifting project. Nothing could be further from the truth. So first of all, you're going to get 3 DVDs. It started out as one. It got so in depth. You're going to have a specific DVD for the bench, another DVD for the squat, and another DVD for the deadlift. All right, so each of the 3 lifts has its own DVD, and know that, and I'm going to go over this now, it's not just the bench, the squat, the deadlift. It's everything that goes along with it. It's, the from movement and stability to breathing to the variations of the exercises. So there's much more to it, and I will go over some of the specifics in the manual, which explains everything that is in the DVDs plus more. This thing started out as what we thought was going to be a 50-page ebook or digital download to accompany the DVDs, and it grew into a monster, and what I believe is and will continue to be the #1 resource for strength and just barbell training essentials for the next 50 years. This is something that I keep a copy at the gym to use as a reference still when I'm training my guys, because you cannot possibly remember everything. So this is everything you need to know and everything that goes along with the barbell training essentials, the bench, squat, and the deadlift, and their variations. So I want to skim through this real quick so you could see it's more than meets the eye. First of all, I want to touch on, I am super proud of the fact that Triple H wrote the foreword to this book, and this isn't your average celebrity endorsement. He actually took the time, out of his day or a couple days and sat down and wrote this, by himself. It's something I would have never expected. He offered to do it, and I was humbled and just really, really just surprised and honored that he would do that, because most celebrity endorsements kind of, they slap their name on something, they don't even know, somebody else writes it for them, they sign their name off on it, and you're done. Where he believes in the methods in this book because he lived them. He believed in it so much when he heard we were doing a product on it. He actually wrote the foreword, and it's much more meaningful to me than your average foreword. You could actually read the foreword. If you go to strengthdvd.com, right underneath the buy button or the add to cart button, you'll see there's a little link underneath it that says View Strength Manual Table of Contents. You could click on that, and there's a PDF download where you could see the table of contents, because I'm not going to be able to go over everything right now, but you could see the table of contents of the book, and you could read Triple H's foreword in its entirety. And again, it's meaningful because he actually practices what we preach in this manual. So you could hear it firsthand from somebody who was kind of one of the experiments while we were writing this thing. So before we even get into the bench, the squat, or the deadlift, I think, man, there's close to 100 pages before we even touch upon the exercises, and that's the main thing that makes this different. We're not just saying go bench, squat, and deadlift, and here's how you do it, because we realize there's a lot of prerequisites that need to be accomplished before you throw a barbell on somebody's back. So we came up with our strength and performance model, which is basically a pyramid, a hierarchy of things that need to be accomplished before you get under the bar. And we say you have to earn your right to barbell bench, barbell squat, or barbell deadlift, and this shows you how to earn that right. It is, to me, it's worth the value of the product in and of itself. So that's number one. We go over this model. Then I'll go over some of the things within that model. Fundamentals like breathing. We teach you how to breathe properly and brace. I can't believe how many coaches don't teach their athletes how to brace underneath the barbell. They just get underneath a squat and they're like a limp noodle, and you just see that's why there's so many back injuries, especially in high school and college weight rooms. Not teaching an athlete how to breathe and brace is almost criminal, the damage that can do. So we have a whole chapter on that. We also get into a lot into mobility and stability, talking about the joint by joint theory right here, teach you how to get in the positions, the proper positions of benching, squatting, and deadlifting if you're unable to. Knowing how to do it is one thing. How many athletes have you trained, or clients have you trained, or it's probably even you yourself? In your head, you know how to squat properly, but sometimes the body just isn't doing it. So we go over how to overcome those mobility restrictions and stability problems. So there's a bunch of stuff in our strength and performance model. After that, it's 80 pages pretty much before we start getting into the bench press. Then we have things, not only do we go over proper technique, but we have things like our checklist. This is invaluable because I know sometimes I even have a tendency I need to slow myself down because I might overcoach. You're telling a new athlete 100 different things. They do so many things wrong that it's tough to almost just break it down and have a checklist of A, B, C, and we give you that checklist. This is something, like I said, I keep in the gym, and sometimes a new athlete comes in, you just look over this checklist, makes it much easier to coach a new athlete. We also have some of our favorite variations of the bench press in there. I think we have over 15 different variations, and we go over the proper technique of those variations and when to incorporate them into your programming. Our favorite accessory movements, that's another big one. Now we show you how to build the bench, and these sections we have for everything. It's not just the bench, it's the bench, squat, and deadlift. In my opinion, the most valuable part of this product is this. For the bench, the squat, and the deadlift, we have troubleshooting sections and examples, which is invaluable. So let me give you some examples. So for example, you get no leg drive when you bench press. Some people might know that. A lot of kids, I call it tap dancing. You'll see them tap dancing on the bench when the weight gets heavy. Okay, you might say drive your feet, But say they're still not doing it. Say they can't do it. We give you 1, 2, 3. We have 4 different reasons why they might not be able to drive off their feet. We give you the reasons, and then we show you how to correct them. Another one, I have low back pain when I bench press. Give you 3 reasons of what the issue might be, how to correct them. A big one, my shoulder hurts when I barbell bench press. We have 1, 2, 3, 8. We have 10 different reasons, the most common reasons why your shoulder hurts when you bench press, and then the solutions to the problem. So you see how this is much, much different than just saying, here's the proper technique to the bench, go do it. Because we realize, I know 90% of athletes that come into my gym, they don't bench, squat, or deadlift properly. I think I'm a pretty good coach. I coach it well in the beginning, but they still can't physically do it. So having that troubleshooting section in here is enormous. And again, we have that for the bench press, the squat, and the deadlift. Also, we got a lot of cool pictures of certain exercises on technique. I know me, I'm a visual guy, so we had professional photographer come in, take really high quality pictures that will help you understand some of the content better. It's not just a bunch of writing. I know me, I need things broken up with some pictures every now and then, makes it much easier for me to comprehend and keeps my interest. After all that, we get into program design, and this is huge. It is not a program. We don't have the 8-week strength program. This is much more valuable than that, not even on the same stratosphere of value. We show you how to structure a proper program. Regardless of the type of training you're into, you might like the programs that I have put online, you might like Smitty's, you might like other coaches, trainers. It doesn't matter who you follow, what kind of program you follow. We show you how to structure a program properly, and you cannot beat that. We have 8 different phases of designing a properly designed program, and we go through all those phases. And then we have, for each of those phases, we have 8 phases. We have a section explaining each of those phases. So unbelievable value. That could be a book in and of itself on program design. It is huge. Some other little features. We have a rep max approximations. Smitty actually, dude is nuts, put this thing together. I experimented with it. It is the most accurate calculation I've ever used, hands down. I think we've all, we work with a lot of high school and college kids. They'll come in and we'll say, hey, well, what's your squat? Oh, I squat 500 pounds. Oh, really? You squatted 500 pounds? You had 500 pounds on your back and you squatted it. Well, no, I did 185 for 7, but my coach said that equals a 500-pound squat. We've all had that kid in our weight room. With this rep max calculations chart, you could legitimately come up or very, very close to their 1 rep max. We don't do a lot of 1 rep maxes anymore with our athletes. 3s and 5s we usually stick with. But if you have them do a 5 rep max, you could use these calculations to come pretty damn close to their 1 rep max. So that is very cool just to have hanging in your gym. I made a photocopy of this. I'm going to hang it in the gym in and of itself. And then finally, I know I'm taking forever, but this thing is a monster. The references section, I think, speaks volumes of the time and effort we put into this thing. I think there's 44 references. Not only is this my research and Smitty's research and our experience, over 40 years combined experience, we went to everyone. We talked to the best minds in the game, guys that were experts in different disciplines, more strength guys that were more into mobility, guys that were more into flexibility, people that are more into corrective exercise, powerlifting types. We covered all spectrums, and that created this monster. Like I said, I'm just super proud. I don't want to come off as arrogant or bragging, but man, we put a ton of time and effort into this thing. We are super proud of it. 350 plus pages in the manual, 3 DVD set, not only showing you how to bench, squat, and deadlift properly, the hierarchy of movements, the fundamentals that need to be accomplished before you earn the right to bench, squat, and deadlift. And then when you do bench, squat, and deadlift, if you're still having problems with it, we show you how to troubleshoot those problems. I mean, that's it. This is something that's tried and true. This is not a gimmick. This is not a fad. This thing's going to be in your library for the next 50 years. Thank you very much for sitting through this. Thank you for your time. I hope this answered your question on how this is different than most other strength products out there. And you can check it out at strengthdvd.com. Thanks, guys.